everyone. Happy Tuesday. It's 9 p.m. here, so you'll slowly see this getting darker and darker because I'm based in London. Just a shout out to Cody Bear, who is moderating in their house. Yeah, they're great. So if I miss a comment, they will reply. For those of you who don't know who I am Mandy Celine. It says it's somewhere that side. And I am a director and editor based in London in the UK. I also have, I've worked as an editor. I was thinking about this last night for so long. I'm like, it's got to be 15 years now, which is mad. But if I'm really counting like work, it's like 12. And I've been specialized in digital first projects. So we're talking creators, branded, all of that jazz. So I know editing. I know editing, and I've got some editors that work with me, some young editors, and they're also a joy. So yeah, as always, I want to hear where you're joining from. Hi, Rob. Nice to see you again, as always. And yeah, let me know where you're joining from today, and let me know what the weather's like where you are, because actually it was much warmer than I thought today, and I took my dog for a walk, Juno. Talk about him in a moment. And I was in a big puffer coat, and it was way too hot for that puffer coat. What's that about? So, what have we been doing the last 2 weeks so far? We have been trying to make a show reel for my dog. It's about time that little guy turns 7 months tomorrow. Actually, I just looked at the date, 21st. It's about time that guy started to contribute towards his household. You know what I'm saying? I need to get him a job. He needs to be making money. He needs to be paying either his pet insurance, food, or ideally both, but most definitely find a way to expense his grooming, because, oh my God, is that expensive. Hello, Val and Franco. Confuse the V's and F's. Well done, me. Dyslexic, That's why I work with pictures. But yes, he needs to pay his rent really badly. So the past 2 weeks, what we have been doing is we have been building him a show reel. You should check out the starter files, because I have done, if you haven't been able to put an edit together, I've done that for you, because today we're working on the color and a couple of extra features. But previously we did a voiceover, we put the music to the track, we learned how to montage with markers. We looked at the new search functions. We've done a lot. We did some transcription, text-based editing. Oh, we're doing voodoo Val. Sorry, Val. I meant well. Oh, we've got Val also as a moderator. Of course, that's what the badge means. I'm just going to check my stream, because I'm getting a little warning, and I shouldn't do, because I've been testing this for like an hour or two. But hopefully it is okay and you are receiving it. If you're not, please let me know in the comments. I did go through and fix the audio issue from last week, but let's jump in to Premiere. Okay, where should Tiny Mandy be in Premiere this week? We'll open up Premiere. Let's put Tiny Mandy on the bottom right. Tiny Mandy is here. We like Tiny Mandy. So this is what it should look like if you open up your starter files from this week. If not, don't worry about it. If you want to work on your own edit, that is also good. So let's test the audio together, guys. Let's play it through.
Meet Juno, a 6-month-old entrepreneur with a passive income via mom and dad. He will work for snacks, no questions asked. Some dogs chase dreams. Juno chases balls. When he's not chasing those balls, he's a full-time cuddle consultant. Warning, prolonged phone use may result in passive-aggressive stares. To give Juno his 15 minutes of fame, drop him a DM. He'll be waiting.
See, that is star quality. Now, don't get me wrong, this guy, he needs a groom. I'm aware they've been backed up with all the summer. He's booked in for June 3rd. I did get his eyes done, though. He can see now. He can see. I think that all sounds great. I just want to solo this because I made you some sound effects that I think is worth hearing. Oh, what? Why did? I just thought you would enjoy that. Some intense sound effects. So first thing I noticed is we've got this black spot. We've done a few like we've done like some special effects. I wouldn't say special effects. We've added a couple like twinkles. We've got money. You could add a sound effect there, by the way, of like, if you wanted. I just, you know, I didn't want to do the full edit for you guys. You got to do something. But yes, we have this black spot here. And you know what? I'm going to fix it using the new Gen Extend tool. So we're going to click on this tool. It's down here in the bottom. Oh, come on, zoom. What? Hang on a second. We love it that when I start streaming, my mouse stops working. Give me a second while I turn my mouse on and off. There we go. Nope. Cool, cool, cool. Well, you can see it. So there's this little button down here in the corner, right there, where I am waving my mouse, and it's got a nice purple. It's, you know, it's on theme. We're on theme with the purple and the pinks. We're going to click this, and this feature is so simple. I'm going to press the plus button to zoom in on my timeline, and I'm just going to drag this out and give it some time to prepare and think, and let's see if it will allow just a little extra time for Juno. And then once we've done that, we're going to start with some fun color, and then we're going to go and color grade the rest of this, and we're also going to color match to our favorite film. I have 3 examples, and we will try and put it, you know, we'll pick our favorite and do it to that. So we're about 34% done. So we're just going to zoom out, have a look. I think we were all good. If you're wondering how I've set this, if you go up to this panel, my personal favorite panel to put this on, go to audio track mixer, you will see I have named the tracks of voice, music, sound effects 1, sound effects 2, whooshes, and audio 6, which it should be VO sound effects. I forgot to do that. VO sound effects, and the mix is all the audio in the thing. So you can turn that up and down as you please. And we'll unsolo that so that when it does play, we get all the music. So that is wonderful. Okay. 49%. Oh, come on. Be speedier. It usually is. I reckon it's because I'm streaming. It's slowed down because it does rely on your internet connection somewhat. And we are also streaming. And I'm 90% sure my husband is also streaming a TV show. But I can't tell him not to do that while I'm working. So, you know, that secret's between you and me. While this is happening, let's go to our Lumetri Color panel. It is here. If you would like more room, you can just move it over here. Sometimes I do that. The places we're going to focus on today are basic color, which is this tab here, and also color wheels and match, which are these 2 tabs. You might want to also notice at the top here that we have edit and settings tabs over here. The settings tab's relatively new within the last year. If you're having any issues with exporting and the color not being right, you probably want to go up to project and check that your viewing gamma matches your output. Usually I tend to have this actually set in 1.96, but it was on 2.2 and that's what I'm used to right now. So we're going to do that, or 2.4 broadcast. What was it on? No, you know what? We'll keep it on 2.4 and work from there. So it might be like you're having issues there with your color spaces because Apple is 1.96 and, you know, they decided to have a different gamma for everyone else. That's the one I am going to use, sorry. Also, here, if you're working with log footage, you can turn on, where is it? Input tone mapping and auto detect. They've moved it. Is it up here? Color management. Blah, 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 blah. It's moved again. Well, you can find that as file, project settings, color, and color manage auto detect log sequence. So that's where I tend to turn it on. But none of this footage is log because I need to get it to you in a smaller file as possible. So I put a Rec 709 on it already. Wonderful. The AI is done. Should we look at this? Oh, that's seamless. That's great. Because let's unsolo this.
Warning. Prolonged phone use may result in passive-aggressive stares.
They've even given him a slight shake. That's great. That's actually usable. So we love that when it happens because I wasn't sure if that was going to work on a dog. It works on a dog. We now know that Gen Extend works on a dog. I've only tested it on humans. I want to do a really quick special color thing here. So I'm going to go into my edit settings up here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into my color settings. There's a couple of ways to do this. I've just kind of decided I want to do this as spur of the moment, because what I want to do is have the saturation go from 0 to that, basically. So I'm going to undo that quickly, and what should happen is now we have a Lumetri Color here, which is great. And I'm going to go into the basic color correction. I'm going to have a keyframe here, a keyframe here, so you don't have to use the Lumetri Color tab to use Lumetri Color. You can also, everything in the Lumetri Color tab is in the effect controls, which is why I just want to quickly tease it, because I think we forget to do that from time to time. So the saturation is 100, we want that to go to 0, so I'm going to that one and taking it to 0, and I might have to move this, so...
Passive aggressive stares.
Oh, it's the other way around, other way around, other way around, what have I done, what have I done? So this is saturation 100, and then we go to the next one and make that saturation 0. Love that. And then
Result in passive aggressive stares.
so we want to move this right to here. We don't want that effect to come in there.
To give
Perfect. I just wanted to add that little bit of comedy. One more time.
phone use may result in passive aggressive stares. To give Juno his
I love that so much. So that is great. I love that. Now, the other thing, let's go to another clip. Let's try this blue one, which is a bit overexposed. That's my bad, because the monitor I was using the histogram told me it wasn't. So, you know, it is what it is. What I want to open up here is our... Anyone else seen that? Okay, great. Our scopes, that should be in your project. Over here is a Luma waveform. Over here is a vector scope. The Luma waveform, favorite thing. See, even here it's saying it's not overexposed. So, but he's a little bit bright. He's a little bit bright. And I think this should really be lower. This bit is really his skin tone, his fur color. That should really be lower. But you can read the image, the light of the image based. I'm going to have to mute it all. I think it's shift mute. Mutes all tabs, by the way. Love that. I found that by accident when teaching like a couple months ago. I was like, oh, I wish I knew that. You're learning new things every day. So you can read the amount of light in an image, if it's overexposed or not, using the Luma waveform. We only have a very short time to teach this, so I'll be very quick. 0 are blacks. What am I talking about? Well, if you go to your Lumetri Color basic tab, you have all these sliding scales, right? And here we see blacks, which is referring to 0 to about 10, 20-ish on the IRE scale. You don't need to know what IRE is. It's named after the Institute of Radio Engineers or something like that. They named it after themselves. I mean, one day I want to do something cool and discover something that could be named after me, but honestly, people would think it would be named after the bag person, right? The Celine effect. But 0 to 20 is our blacks, 20 to 40 is typically our shadows, 40 to 60, nope, done that wrong, 20, let me try that again, 0 to about 20, 30 is our blacks, 20 to about 50 odd is our shadows, 50 to 70 is our highlights, I think, and 80 to 100 is our whites, and that's how they correspond. And I can show you that, because if I do the blacks, you'll see that bottom part move if I bring that the whole way down, but that's really ugly. If I bring this the whole way up, you'll see that top end, the whites are moving, and it gets very bright. Our shadows only, like, you're mostly seeing that middle bottom part pull. It will pull some of the top in with it because they're all related. That's kind of cool. That's actually fixing the problem we're having with it, where it is a bit bright. That's how it should look. Something like that. Down here, and then the highlights, you can see that middle top section moving. Not as much as the whites were. So when we do the whites, that top is really moving. And when we do this part, it's the middle top, which is great. Contrast, what it does is it pulls the dark and light further, giving it more dynamic range, in theory. Sometimes too much contrast sucks, but too little also looks really boring. So those are the things you can play with. And exposure is basically making the whole image brighter and the whole image darker to break it down. And if you want to reset these, you just double click them and they go to the middle point again. We have saturation, which is all of the colors going up or down. Whereas if there was a vibrance tool here, which actually I would really love vibrance to sit here, honestly. Vibrance brings the bottom end of each color up, not the full color. And tint is just like the green and magenta scale of color. Whereas temperature is, if you have used to light bulbs, you'll see either a blue, or they're done in Kelvin light in light bulbs, and it's either a bluer light, which is like 5,000 odd, 6,000 odd, or a yellower light, which is more towards 2,000. So, and you can usually correct an image using those things, which is great. Now, something I want to show you is this auto button. This auto button is not what the old auto button was a couple of years ago. It's pretty good. It's actually an AI tool. And it will say, I think the image should look like this. And you can bring the intensity of that up or down. And if I brought it up the whole way and turn this on and off, it's actually been quite subtle about it. If I'm honest, it's been quite subtle. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to bring those shadows down because I want more definition in Juno and I like him showing up more in the background. And then I might bring, no, not the whites. Let's have a look. Sometimes I do it by eye and then I look over here. So what is this very quickly? It's the vector scope. The vector scope is I'm going to break it down. If you have skin tones, you want them along these lines. But the thing I like the vector scope for and why I like to have it up is you'll notice that there's like this little grid inside the circle. And that is what's called the broadcast safe zone. And the reason why that's useful is you can tell if a color is going to, if it goes outside of it, it might look different on different screens because you're losing color information. It's too bright and too saturated. So I like to use this as a checker to see if all my colors are okay. So that's a loose, quick color grade on that. Well, I would say correction. For me, correction is bringing it back to normal. A grade is putting the art into it. Grades are subjective. Correction, not so much. So we're going to grade something, but we're going to grade it like our favorite film because we're running out of time. I have 3 stills. I'm going to pull these 3 stills into the timeline. I have a classic Blade Runner 2048 because it looks orange and it's easy to see how this works. I have something from the brand new Mission Impossible movie coming out. I'm excited to see it. And I have a Sinners color grade that I saw that I quite liked. I'm going to select all 3 of these, go to my properties panel and make sure they fill the screen. Fill, not fit. That's really important for what we're about to do. And then if I wanted to say, let's have a look at this clip. No, let's look at this clip. Juno on the sofa. I'm going to go back to my Lumetri Color panel and I've decided I want to make this look a bit more like Blade Runner for the sake of trying things out first. I'm going to go to Color Wheels and Match and I'm going to click on Comparison View. And I'm like, okay, so the reference image is going to be one of these stills, right? That completely fills the screen. Let's try the orange one. And this is the current image we have. And all I'm going to do is click Apply Match. And it's made it very orange. Juno is an orange dog, so maybe this isn't the best still for him. Let's try Mission Impossible. Apply Match. That looks like pretty much an action film. That is 100% an action film color grade. I don't think it recognizes him as like an orange dog as much, so it's put a bit more in him than I would like, and to fix that I would just bring his midtones up a bit. And that looks a bit more like the film even already, and I could play with this, the highlights, and bring the highlights up a bit and then bring those midtones back down. Yeah, that's good. That looks a lot more like that film still. So I graded that to Mission Impossible inside a minute. I think I did that inside a minute. And let's try Sinners, shall we? So I'm gonna now move this over to the Sinners tab. This is a bit more greeny, goldy. I'm not sure how it will do with Juno's fur. But anyway, we'll have a go and apply that match. You know what? I 100% see how it's done that. This blanket is spot on. I think it's struggling with the dog's fur, but that's fine because I can just go into the highlights again and move this more towards... Oh, that's too much in the highlights, actually. The highlights are the kind of greenier part. I'm going to make my midtones come up a bit so it's a bit more... There we go. And that looks a lot more like a film. Let's try how this looks on the blue, because I honestly have no idea. Could I have like prepared and gotten this to look, you know, test to see if these particular stills worked? I could have, but I know that this actually gets me there a lot of the time. Apply match. Ooh, it's made it quite red. That's interesting. But do you know what? We need the park footage, because I know I have green and blues. Where's this really nice one where he's dancing? Where's his dancing image? Should we do... Where's his dancing? I know he has a dancing image. There he is. Let's apply the match to that one. There we go. That looks great, actually. I would happily have that as the color grade of that one. It's understood that he is more of an orange dog. It's great. And if you like this, what you can do is you can actually put this on an adjustment layer, which we're going to do very quickly. Make an adjustment layer for the whole thing. You can name that color if you wanted. I'm running out of time a little bit, so I'm just going to be super quick about it. And I'm going to, drag that all the way here and have that go all the way here. And then I need more room. I'm going to move this down so I can see my video stuff more. Click this, click copy. And then I'm going to turn off the color correction on this so that I can just have it on here, because otherwise it's going to do double color correction. It's going to look weird. Right click, paste attributes, Lumetri Color. Okay, there we go. And it should now be across my project. So now I can just adjust the individual clips. Like, it doesn't really work on the inside ones, which are much more yellow, but all those part clips, I can see it definitely works. And this is a quick way to test out as well if your grade works across the thing. That's kind of cool. I do like that. I actually like that I actually prefer that the whole spotlight is dark around just the blue. I love that. Oh, he's such a cute puppy. But we can reset that. I wonder if it will work on the adjustment layer. I actually haven't done that. So let's go for this shot and click. Let's change this to a Mission Impossible, because it's bluer. Apply. Oh, it does. Oh, no, it's applied it to the clip. It's applied it to the clip, but it definitely looks like a spy film. I can work with that. But obviously, if you're going to use a like for like, try and find one that's as similar to the situation you're in. So like this Sinners still he's outside in greenery, and that's why it looks so good in the park. And in fact, do you know what? I know for a fact that this Blade Runner still looks so good on sunset, because I've used it. It's so, so good. Also, I want to see Sinners so bad. I have not seen it. What I did see recently was Final Destination Bloodlines. I saw that last night. I'm not going to say the writing's great, but it does exactly what it's meant to. That is a Final Destination film, and I really enjoyed it. I had a good time and a lot of fun. Okay, I think it's actually time to wind down. That went by so quickly. Oh my goodness. So, what did we do today? We did Gen Extend. We went through basic color panels. We did very basic scopes and how the sliders work. And we did color match, which I think is quite a lot to do in 25 minutes. 25 minutes, it flies by. Don't forget to head to the Discord and share your work. You know what? Let's do this in full screen. You know, make camera. We can come back to me. It's fine. So don't forget to go to the Discord, share all your work, and stay tuned for the next Adobe Live. The next person up is Phil Palin. I said Pollen last week because I read it and my autocorrect did me dirty, so I want to apologise to him. And yeah, he's going to be talking about profile photos and bio makeovers for your brand with Adobe Express. I've been Mandy Celine. We've got 1 week left. I've had a joy having you the whole of May, but don't forget to come back next week for the final week where we are going to discuss auto reframe, captioning, and maybe peeping some templates in Premiere Pro. But yeah, I will catch you next Tuesday at the same time, and I hope you have a wonderful day or evening where you are. And cue the outro.